What's going on, guys? The Barber Phil here, back again with another haircut tutorial. And in today's cut, we're just doing a really simple 1-2-3 fade up the sides. Going to taper out the temple area, fade it down into the beard, knock that down a little bit. He pushes the top over, doesn't do a hard part, so this is just like a real simple taper that comes through the shop on a daily basis. So we're going to start things off, use our comb everything down into place. Usually you can either do one of two things. You can either comb the hair all forward or in the direction that it falls, or if you know that your client wears their hair in a particular style, you can go ahead and comb it in that direction. That's what we did here. He always pushes it over, so we combed it over in that way just to prepare ourselves for the haircut so we can cut it to style. This is my cordless senior modified with the Addis master blade. I have an open 3-guard. We're coming straight up the head and off at the parietal ridge. We'll debulk this that perimeter there in just a minute. Now we're going to switch over. This is the 2-guard open. You're going to go about halfway to 3/4 of the way up through that initial 3-guard section. You'll close this 2-guard up halfway. You'll drop down just a little bit, and you'll go about halfway to 3/4 of the way up through your initial open section. Then you'll do the same thing with it all the way closed. Now we switched over to the metal magic clip. This is the Wahl premium 1.5 guard. Do the same thing. You'll start with it open. You'll go about halfway to 3/4 of the way up through that initial, or through that 2-guard section. Close it up halfway, close it up all the way, work your way down. So there's your 3, 2, 1.5. Now here's the open one. You'll do that right here around the perimeter, fold the ear down. His hair grew towards the back that way. That's why I flipped the clipper around, went against the growth of the hair. There's your 1-2-3 fade up the side of the head. Now it's all about tapering out the temple area. So we put our bald section in with the gold FX, or silver FX with the gold blade. Now we're going to use that for the C-cup. We'll do a sharp line on the back of the beard. And what I like to do here sometimes, especially on shorter beards, take the comb, hold that hair back over directed past the back line, and clean that up. That way it doesn't matter which way he lays or which way his hair falls, that back line will always be sharp. So that's what we're going to do there. Hit it one more time, make sure that it's nice and sharp. It gives it a good perimeter around there and just a very nice shape. Use the corners of our blade just to go around his ear. Make sure we fold the ear down and get the hair right there above the ear. That's a spot a lot of barbers miss. And then from here, it's just a simple taper up into the temple and then down through the beard. Use those FXs, put you a nice line down the back neckline, clean that up, and then we're ready for the taper. So I set that initial bald section in with the FX trimmer. I know personally for me, I use my Slimline to flick that line out. Now we've got a closed metal magic clip. Then we open it up halfway, went up a little bit. We open it up all the way. Now we're just really using the corners of the blade, fading that up in there, just kind of fading to color. And just to double check and make sure that we get that faded properly, we're going to use the Wahl Premium half guard, close it up, and just use the corners and kind of as well to pinpoint dark areas and bring that fade all together there. And then you're going to do the same steps going down into the beard. You'll start with it closed. You open it up a little bit, open it up all the way. That'll fade that right out. Now we're going to go into the back. Start with that FX trimmer, put in a bald section, Slimline Pro, flick that line out a little bit. I am taking it up a little bit higher. This is a closed metal magic clip. And we open it up all the way, set in that open section. We'll close it up halfway, drop down a little bit, continue to fade that open section out, and then we'll close it up all the way. It will completely eliminate that. You'll have no lines and you'll have a nice clean taper. Same steps on the back here, guys, so I'm going to let this ride. Take a second, guys, after this video is over. Check the link in the description of this video or any of my other videos for the Tomb 45 Online Academy. Make sure that you guys check that out. I promise you won't regret it. It's a $20 monthly subscription-based academy that allows you to get direct contact with Chris Bosio, Sean Cuts Hair, Get Beamed, S-Craft Blends, and Dre Cut It Out. So it's well worth it, guys. Go check that out. I promise you won't regret it. They do in-depth, long tutorials. So this haircut itself took me 30 to 45 minutes, but I broke it down into an 11-minute video. What they do is they bring you the full 45-minute haircut so that they can stop the video, answer all your direct questions right there on the spot. They can pause it, draw on the screen, and really go more in depth as to what they're doing, why they're doing it, what they could have done, and different ways to do it. And of course, when you have 5 different barbers from different parts of the country, or that cut different demographics of hair, well, you're gonna have a lot of different diverse ways of doing things. So make sure you guys check that out. It's well worth it. I promise you won't regret it. So as always, guys, to keep things consistent, what you do to one side, you should do to the other side. So we're going to use the same exact steps as always. Switch back to the Cordless Senior Modified with the Andy's Master Blade. This is the open 3 guard. We're coming straight up and off the head at the parietal ridge, just like always. From here, you'll switch over to an open 2 guard, and you'll slowly start to work your way down again. Start with it open, then you'll go halfway open, and then you'll close it all the way up, and you'll continue to work down. And what I like to do, I've said this before, but I like to use reference points. And what I mean by that is I'll use like the vertical bar or the C cup as reference points as to where I know I left off, with that closed 2 guard. And so that'll give me a good starting point for whenever I switch to the next lowest guard, the next guard down. I'll know where I need to start at, where I stopped at, and so that I don't get lost. And then your eye will eventually get trained to be able to see the fade and see where you know you need to stop at, or where you did stop with the previous guard. So your eye will get trained for that, guys. Just stick with the process if you do decide to fade down, and I promise you, once you do get the hang of it, you'll like the results. So here we've got the FX. We created a bald section there just to create some division between the top of the beard and the bottom of the temple fade here. Then we did a sharp line on the back of the beard. Now we did the C cup. We're going to fold his ear down, use the corners of the FX blade there, clean up that just above his ear, and then we'll travel that down his neckline, put a nice sharp line there, and then we'll get into fading out the temple and the beard. So we created that initial bald section with the FX, so we're going to flick that out with my Slimline Pro Li. Then we'll come straight in. We'll use a closed no guard. This is the Metal Magic clip. We'll open it up halfway and then open it up all the way, and we're going down through the beard. Now we'll do the same thing going up through the temple. Start with it closed, then halfway open, then all the way open, and you'll just use the corners of that open blade to hit some dark spots. And then I'll come in, probably use the Wahl Premium half guard, and really make sure that we get that blend right where we want it to be. Just to soften up the blend a little bit, I always like to come through the parietal ridge area, hit it a few times with the blending shears. It's just going to soften it up, allow it to lay a little bit better, thin it out just a tad bit, and take away some of those dark spots. There I did use like an open 3 guard or an open 2 with the Wahl Premium set just to hit that dark spot. Now as far as the top goes, I'm going to start on this left side, work my way back. We weren't really taking much off, we're really just hitting the dead ends. A quarter of an inch maybe. So we're going to work our way from the front to the back, making sure that each section that you pull, you're pulling some of the previous sections so that you have a guideline to go off of. Then we'll work down the middle, using part of the sections from that left side to go down to the middle, and then you'll move off to the right side and use sections from the middle. It's a process. Just work your way back through there, making sure that you do smaller sections at a time, and you keep pulling sections from your previous steps there. That way you always have a guideline to go off of. Jamin Lee. So that's a technique that I've done a couple different times on the channel. I'm using a 2 guard closed, and I'm kind of freehanding it, going down with the growth of the hair. It just helps eliminate some of those thicker areas or more weighted areas to soften that up a little bit. And then there I folded the hair up out of the way, run that 2-guard open up through there just to lighten that dark spot up. Now we're using the Babyliss FX trimmers. This is the silver edition with the gold blade. I didn't like the graphite blade, so I switched it out for the gold one, and now I absolutely love this set. Putting a sharp line on the bottom, and that's why I love these trimmers so much. You know, this is a very sensitive area. Probably the most sensitive area on a client is underneath their neck, and I'm able to use these trimmers, get really sharp lines, but not worry about, you know, causing redness or cutting them or really them snagging. So that's why I absolutely love my FX trimmers. He doesn't have the highest beard line on top, but we don't really do enhancements for him, so we just line it up as best we can naturally where its highest point is. We put sharp lines on the back, sharp lines underneath, keep that cleaned up, and then he usually takes his beard down to like a closed 2-guard, and I usually run that down with the growth of the hair. But this is about where he normally keeps it. It's more than a 5 o'clock shadow, but it's not, you know, he's not really trying to let it grow out much either. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what is your plan of attack when it comes to mustaches? I do a couple different things. Sometimes I'll use trimmer over comb, usually my Slimline. Or for my personal beard, I usually just throw a 1-guard, the Wahl Premium 1-guard, open on a magic clip. And that's usually what I use on my personal mustache. Some people don't like it that short. I just like mine dark enough that you can clearly see it. But I don't like any bushiness or bulkiness to it at all. So let me know what you guys do as far as mustaches go. And that about does it for this tutorial, guys. Make sure that you hit me up in the comment section and let me know what you thought about this cut. While you're down there, consider subscribing if you're new and enable those notifications. That way you never miss another video from me. I post every Sunday and every Wednesday, so you've got a lot of content coming out to you. I really appreciate all the new subscribers that are coming in and those that have stuck with me. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and until the next video, guys, I appreciate it.